Hey y'all, this is AL Thick Madame, and this is the recap review for Queen Sugar. So I went on ahead and took those off because I don't have anything to remedy a glare in this moment, so I'm not even gonna fool with them. But anyway, let's go ahead and get into this. So Ralph Angel and Darla are at the house and they are discussing the wedding. And since Darla is going to be able to plan her dream wedding, she is telling him that you're going to get the option to plan the dream honeymoon. So he thought about it and he was like, well, I've always wanted to go to New York to catch one of those plays on Broadway, one of the shows on Broadway. And so he was like, she was like, you know what? I like that. So I was like, yes. The closest I've ever come was back home in my home city of Montgomery, Alabama. And we used to go to Shakespeare. I don't know what they call it now. I guess it's called Blunt Cultural Park. We ain't even gonna go there because if you know, what's his name? What is it? William Blunt? I forgot his name. Now, y'all, it's a mess. Definitely, some history. Wynton Blunt, Wynton D. Blunt or something like that. Wynton Blunt. Yeah, it was named after him. But yeah, we used to call it the Shakespeare Park, but it has museum and areas where they have different plays. And as I got older, I was able to actually go with certain classes to go to museums, or my parents would actually take me to go see certain plays. I think my sister's been a couple of times, but I know I've been the most out of all of my siblings. I love the theater, but again, that's the closest I've ever been. I don't know if I would ever go to New York. I'm just so pretty much afraid of the rat situation and the horror stories that you hear about being down, underground. You want to get on the train, just the robberies and how rude a lot. Like, it's just a lot of stuff that makes me just like, I don't know about all that. But anyway, yeah, that's the closest I've ever come to that. So it kind of made me smile a little bit when he said that. So I was like, okay, Ralph Angel, I see you have layers. I see you have different sides. That's what I'm talking about. So anyway, Charlie then headed over to the place where Parker works. And speaking of Parker, in real life, this actress's name is Amira Van. And congratulations are in order because she just gave birth to her first child with her fiance. The baby's name is Nyla. Her husband to be, his name is Pat. But yeah, this is her first child. She's like 40, 41 years old. I didn't know, y'all, this is not a read. I actually did not know she was 40. I thought she was just a little bit older than that. And I think it's because of some of the roles they've had her playing. Like, especially when they had her on Underground. I just always saw her as just like a little bit older. Not much older, but I'm just saying, I didn't know she was like 40. But yeah, congratulations are in order. I am so happy for her. Apparently she's had trouble trying to conceive. And, then your career takes off and you're trying to do what you're going to do. So I'm very happy for her. Like, she seems like a really genuinely sweet person. So yeah, I'm very happy for them. Hopefully they have had a healthy baby and everything goes amazingly well with that and their wedding process. So yeah, so Charlie went over to the bank, I guess, to see Parker because she had a meeting with the heifer. It was scheduled. The time she got there was the time the meeting was supposed to start. So the receptionist was like, would you want to take a seat while I call her because she's cleared her schedule for the day? And she was just like, girl, I ain't got time for this. Our meeting was today. Our meeting was right now. My time is just as valuable as hers. What we're not finna do is this. This is unprofessional. You need to relay this message to her because that's not how you do things or whatever. And she walked out. So then she ended up walking to her vehicle and she called Nova. And so she was talking to Nova. And Nova thinking that the meeting, asking her, how did the meeting go? And she was like, it didn't. Because the heifer wasn't here. She wasn't here or whatever. And so she was like, yeah, I'm sure you will figure out, and get down to the bottom of a lot of the stuff that's going on with this heifer. because she already knew she was in the wrong. That's why she wasn't there. That's why she cleared that schedule, because she knew she was wrong when she pulled what she pulled as far as what we saw last week. So anyway, Nova was like, well, you can spend time with yourself, do some self-care and like get your nails done or do something. You'll have like an hour to spare. She was like, nah, I'm just gonna get back to the office. I got a lot of work I got to do, because she is a councilwoman. She actually does do her job. She's not acting uppity and all that like people probably thought she was going to do, especially before she got elected, because of the lifestyle she was living when she was with her ex. But she was more than that, as we have been able to see. So anyway, Nova is actually looking through her closet and, pulling out clothes while she's talking to her, because she is still going to go to her man's grandfather's 85th birthday anniversary. Well, birthday celebration, I should say. And so at that event, his mama's supposed to be there and 2 of his 3 kids are going to be there, but it's the youngest ones. The oldest child is off in college. And so Charlie was like, well, hopefully that'll be great. And you already know you're going to be a strong woman despite whatever happens. And so I was like, I'm glad you gave her that little bit of encouragement, because I'm sorry. You are in Louisiana. What just happened the other day? This just happened like today or yesterday. As far as like something in Louisiana. Some stay popping off in Louisiana. Some stay popping off in the South. Some stay happening everywhere nowadays. But I think a police officer was choking out a little black boy who was like 13 years old. Like he had his neck like embedded in that child's neck. I hope his mama and whoever is over him, who has custody over him, gets all of the money that they can possibly get out of these folks and some more. And that person lose their job, pension, everything else. I'm telling you, they gotta go. But yeah, some boy in Louisiana, and that's what they did. I mean, that man had his elbow right in his neck like this. I was like, what kind of foolishness? But yeah, I'm just tired. Like, it is doing the most, y'all. I'm sorry to bring in what has happened now with, this. But it's just disheartening, because when I visited Louisiana, I was told that I needed to be careful and all this other stuff, like be very, very overly aware of my surroundings. And I'm like, I got to do the most in Alabama, and I can't even have fun and enjoy the HBCU experience that I was trying to enjoy at the time, because I went twice before Hurricane Katrina, and it was all, educational. So I never got to go and have fun, but I still want to do that someday. I want to do Mardi Gras. I want to do all that. I always went when it was around the time Mardi Gras was going to go on. It was like the week before. It was always the week before or the week after. It was just so random. So yeah, y'all. Anyway, let's continue on with this. So Prosper was over at Hollywood's place, helping him to straighten up and get things looking a little bit more how it's going to look once he opens up. He got some books. He asked him if he could help put some books up and all this other stuff. And he was like, okay, man. So you could tell that something was on Prosper's mind, because eventually Hollywood was able to get him to open up, and he basically said that, he was kind of feeling some type of way, because he's been keeping his eye on how the virus, how COVID-19 has been running rampant at other places. And so since they, when they first released everything, they were saying it was like at a higher rate for older people and all of that. So he was in his feelings about that, but Hollywood reassured him that before it would get to him, it would have to get through him and all of St. Joe first. And I'm kind of like, I wanted to be like, sir, don't work like that. But I understand you putting his mind at ease. But yeah, you could tell that it really was something that kind of made him feel a little bit better about the situation. So Darla is at the house with Blue, and he's teaching her how to play chess. So Ralph Angel comes home, and he was like, I thought y'all was playing checkers. And so he was like, no, that's for suckers and all of that. But he made sure he quickly told his daddy, I'll teach you how to play next. And so Ralph Angel was like, okay, do y'all want crawfish for dinner? And so Darla said that sound good. And before he could go get cleaned up, she pulled him to the side and was talking to him, let him know that her boss put in for this position, that she might be basically getting a promotion, getting better pay and all this other stuff. You could tell by what she was saying, but nothing is a sure thing. And so he was like, being very, very encouraging and supportive, and was speaking it into existence, and just straight up told her, you got it, don't worry about it. I thought that was so sweet. Charlotte was on the phone with somebody, and they were basically talking about how the numbers have been rising when it comes to COVID and all that, because at that moment, it's not really known what's going on. Nobody is sure about it because it's very, very new in the United States at that time. So then, she had her TV on and she turned it up, and they were talking about the confirmed positive cases and all this other stuff. So then she gets a phone call from Micah. He called her wanting to confirm whether or not she really was going to come and be present at his homecoming. And so she was like, yes, I am. I'm just going to make a pit stop first by the farm, and then I'll be there. And he wanted to know, what about his daddy? And so she was like, yeah, I talked to him this morning. He'll be there too. Do you want us to meet you at your dorm? He was like, oh no, my roommate is a slob. If you saw that room, you would think I needed to go ahead and get admitted to the ER right now. But told our location to meet her, and that they would definitely be able to spot him. So I'm pretty sure that they are going to see that he is in a fraternity. Might be a probate show of some sort, some kind of step show that he's going to be front and center. And I can't wait to see that part. Calvin and Nova are at Calvin's grandfather's birthday situation event, and they end up meeting his mama first, and she seemed cool or whatever, and I'm like, okay. Nova brought her some flowers, and when she walked away, he was like, I already knew my mom was gonna like you. So then he went through the house, and then he went outside looking for his grandfather. Of course, he was outside sitting on the porch, and so he was like, there he is, the birthday boy or whatever. Told him happy birthday, gave him a hug. And then he introduced Nova. He had this look on his face like, what is this you brought up in here? She handed him a bag that had scotch in it. And so he peeked in the bag, and he saw it was something that he lived for. And so, they seemed like they had a decent moment. But one of Calvin's children ran up, and it kind of, I don't know. I really feel like it's going to be some of the same foolishness that it's going to be, but we'll see later on. But yeah, the child wanted to know what took him so long to get there, and he said that it was because he was getting a special gift for a special girl, and then he revealed that it was a necklace for her. So she said she loved it, and so he was like, well, you should thank Nova because she's the one who picked it out. So she stood up, she looked at Nova, told Nova that she was wearing a beautiful dress, and she told her that she loved her dress as well, and then she proceeded to put the necklace on her. Now, Calvin's mama is standing off to the side, looking over at them. And I guess that's her daddy, who is his grandfather. So I don't know if she kind of trying to stand over there just in case he pop off, or she secretly got some of that hate in her too. I don't know what it is. It might be because she's trying to, break it up before he go there or something. But she's standing off to the side watching everything unfold. So I'm like, okay, let's see how this goes. Charlie came over to see Ralph, Angel, and Darla because Darla needed some pointers on how to pull off the perfect interview. She's afraid that she's not going to do well, and she basically feels like it's just a situation that's going to make it seem like she's too needy and desperate and all this other stuff, and like just too much, and you shouldn't feel like that. And so Charlie had to let her know that you have to let them understand and know that you are needed. They need you, and that you can do the job, and not like you're begging for a job. So I was glad she told him that. I noticed the makeup she had on. I kind of wish they had just saved that for when she was doing everything wedding related. But I was like, because when they first panned over to her, I was like, the makeup was really pretty, but I was just like, why they do this now? Like, I don't think she going on the interview right now. So I was like, what is that about? She had this makeup on. I was like, oh, okay. Y'all could have saved that for the engagement party or something. What's going on? Of course, Hollywood is still working on his spot. And he's on the phone trying to get Ralph Angel to come over and help. Because he actually was supposed to come over there. And he was like, I'm coming. I, had to finish up some work first. And so he trying to get him to hurry up and come over there. And he was like, well, why don't you call your other brother? And he was like, I thought I was calling my brother. So he was like, no, your white brother. And he was talking about Calvin. And so he was like, you ain't trying to make it seem like it's too good for the white guy to come in there, do you? You ain't trying to make it seem like ain't no white people going to be involved, be able to come in there and argue. I was like, oh my gosh. And so Hollywood was like, you a mess. So when he got off the phone, he went over to something that was covered by some cloth. And so he was like, what is this? And so she was like, well, you never know until you open it up. Why don't you open it up and see? So he uncovered what was up under it. And what was under it, it was either a sign or it was a doormat. I think it was a sign that said The Real Spot, which is the name of the place that Hollywood has created for the men to come to. So he was very, very happy. You could tell how happy he was because he called her Shay, which is her nickname. And I was like, you better do that. And so he was acting like he was trying to get frisky, and she had to go ahead and cut him off at the pass and was like, look, that's going to be reserved for tomorrow, so you need to slow your roll. And so he was like, what's tomorrow? So I don't know if it's an anniversary or whatever that's going to be tomorrow, but she held up a bottle of wine. And he was like, oh, you taking it way back. And they poured up the wine, and she was like, hopefully I can still fit into the outfit that I had on. And so he was just like, I'm sure you can. You ain't got to worry about that. So hopefully they will enjoy themselves. And I think that she has been getting back into the groove of things as far as their very, very personal life. So Charlie and her ex-husband are at the homecoming, and Kiki came along and, I guess was greeting them, kind of to set them up for the kill, if you will. Because like I said, this actually is going to be Micah's coming out, but they don't know. So she asked Charlie if she wants something from this smoothie stand because one of her friends works at it. And so she was like, sure, give me a strawberry, smoothie. So then they start seeing people come out and all that. And her ex are looking like, man, where is Micah? He's missing all of this. Like, this is amazing. So they come out there, they got their masks on, and they doing their thing. And so each person starts introducing themselves like they normally do when they do these probates and step shows and all that or whatever. I'm probably saying the wrong terminology. So one of y'all who are in these fraternities and sororities, let me know what it's called when you first come out. I don't know if it's a probate show or what. I don't remember. I ain't been at state in over 10 years, y'all. I'm very old at this point. So anyway, he is called Showtime. That's his name. That's what's going to be on all of his stuff. And so he does his little introduction of himself. And so he doing something where he gyrating and like being kind of provocative and how he's, saying who he is. And, he made sure, because the other dude, he didn't take his mask off. So he took his off. Charlie got this look on her face. His daddy was shocked too. But of course, after he started doing what he was doing, he was here for it. Because y'all know his daddy's a hoe. And, so he here for it. He think he'll chip off the old block. Y'all, but anyway, he could tell his mama ain't here for it. And even though he was in formation doing what he was supposed to do, he was wondering where Kiki was. And so he looked off into the distance and see Kiki talking to somebody, which is, I guess, is some dude who runs the smoothie stand. So he got tied in the spirit. And one of the heifers that was in a sorority, he started dancing with her. I was like, boy. Then, of course, when that moment happened, this is when Kiki looks over and sees it popping off. And I'm just like, why though? Why? Y'all, I've said this before, and I got slightly triggered when I just rolled it back a few minutes, well, like a minute, and saw it again. But yeah, when he was dancing with the random girl who I guess she was in some sorority and just crossed over herself, the crossing over ceremony or whatever. I told y'all before, there was this dude who wanted to talk to me, and for whatever reason, he started trying to talk to me right when he was about to start going through the hazing and all the other stuff. And a part of that is you not being able to have any interaction with any women. And it's like, why you trying to talk to me and you already knew what it was? So I felt like he was ghosting me. So wasn't nothing else to talk about. Then it was over when everything was finally over and he had crossed. Then he tried to roll up, and I'm looking at him like, sir, I don't know who you supposed to be, but whatever. But for me, I don't know if I could ever be with somebody, especially if they was at one of them, like if they was a Q. Like some of them dudes and some of them fraternities be doing the absolute most. I don't know if I could do it. Like they really be doing the most. And I don't know, in that moment, Kiki kind of looked at him like, oh, you think you something? Like a lot of people, they be, in all honesty, I've seen some of the lamest dudes who, after they crossed, they felt like they was everything because they was in at the parties and all they had to do was wear their number and all of that and their colors. And I'm just like, I knew who you were before this. Like, don't try to make this seem like all of a sudden you ain't lame no more. You still lame to me. I'm just like, I'm talking these dudes were some of the dustiest, lamest dudes. I'm like, boy, if you don't get, I'm sorry, I can't. Some of them dudes, I'm telling you, some of the dudes, I was just like, you was dusty and lame before this. And I know some of y'all who've paid for these letters and numbers and things. So I ain't even trying to hear that. You a paper. You are one of those paper members. I ain't even trying to hear that at all from you. Child, back at the birthday party, Nova ended up meeting the oldest child, who we thought was away at college, but I guess they came by real quick and, said happy birthday to their granddaddy or whatever. Well, great granddaddy. He wasn't here for Nova, and you could tell, even though he, it's like he just spoke just to speak, because he already know his daddy was gonna chop his head off if he hadn't spoke. So anyway, all of a sudden, we see the ex-wife. So Nova was like, I didn't know she was gonna be here. So then, of course, the heifer comes strutting over there, and then she tried to read Nova, and oh Lord, got at him, and then she was talking about how, oh yeah, you're just one of many. He has a type. The darker, the better. You're one of many. Don't worry. And I mean, she really was trying to make it seem like she was speaking facts, like there are other women, and how does it feel to be the other woman, to know that you're the reason why our happy home was destroyed. Calvin read her down and was like, I didn't love nobody and didn't want none of y'all. I was passing time with all of y'all. And when I say all, I mean all of y'all, until she would have me. That man said he ain't love not now one of them heifers. I was like, sir, y'all was cheating. Y'all was doing the most. I'm glad the divorce has been finalized, but oh gosh, the read. Whew. Charlie was able to have a one-on-one with Micah. And even though she was trying to go all the way around the world, he ain't had time for it. And he was like, yeah, anybody got time for this passive aggressive behavior? I know you don't like the fact that I was in that fraternity or whatever. You in your feelings. And so she was like, it's not even the fact that you're in it. Why didn't you go and get in the one that your daddy was in? The one that you're in, they are not a respected one to be in. And I don't know if it's because of his daddy's getting around and all that stuff, but they didn't want him. So that's why he went and got with them. So she was like, we could have said something. And he was like, I ain't want y'all help. So that's why I ain't say nothing. It is what it is. So anyway, Nova and Calvin are talking and walking. And this is like the next day. Calvin could tell something wrong and wanted her to talk about it. And so she was just like, so there have been others before me. You have a type. Like, what's going on? I mean, the wife went all the way off and was like, she really was trying to read Nova. She was like, yeah, you're different. You're small. He normally likes them thick. And I was like, girl. Like, she really was talking about they be having booties and some more. So anyway, he was like, yeah, there have been other women before you. But again, you are the only one who I've ever loved. And so he gave her some reassurance. And she seems to be taking a hold of that. So hopefully she does really take a hold of that. Y'all, Darla and Ralph Angel seem to be on their way to a date. They actually allowed their son to go somewhere to one of their friends' houses to hang out. So they in the truck talking, and then Darla hears the virus over the radio, and she turned it up. And so Ralph Angel turned it. He was like, I don't want to hear that death stuff. And so they talked about it for a minute, and she was like, it seems to be something that affects a lot of the older generation. And I really hope that doesn't come to St. Joe, because, these people are like treasures. And, everybody is worried about Prosper. Ever since the beginning of this episode, I've been having a feeling that they about to X Prosper out. I thought it was going to kill him off last season, but we going to see. But he ain't trying to hear none of that. So we going to see how this play out. Charlie has been getting notifications about the virus, and so she's looking like she's getting a little antsy because it's so much uncertainty surrounding it. So it's like, okay, what's going on? Then later on, she's on the phone with other constituents and whatnot, trying to get information. And they just let her know that, like, it's been spreading throughout the United States. And if it actually reaches your area, then y'all might have to consider lockdowns, because other places that aren't even in the United States have been doing lockdowns. And definitely if New York and California, big places like that, start doing them, they would suggest that y'all try to do it, because the government is not going to mandate it like that. So she looked like she tired of her spirit. Lord. What else going on, y'all? I think I forgot when Micah met up with Kiki to let her know that, well, to basically ask her was she cool with what went down, which was him dancing with that girl. And so she trying to act like she wasn't jealous or nothing like that. And he asked who that dude was. She explained who he was. And you could tell they already looking like they ain't gonna make it right now. I'm gonna need for them to like just be open and honest about it and just say, I didn't like that. Can you not do that? The end. Like, don't just let stuff fester. I don't know what's wrong with people when they do stupid stuff like that. It is so dumb. All right, we're coming down to the end of the episode. And so Violet and Hollywood are meeting up. He has actually outdone himself. He really did spice up the place. It is very welcoming, and I'm pretty sure Violet loved what she saw. So she got there, and apparently she was wearing what she first wore when she met him, and he rolled up. And it was so cute how they basically acted out exactly what was said the night when he rolled up on her. And they were in the middle of having a moment when Charlie called her, and she was like, can I call you back? She was like, no, it's actually important. She ended up telling her that coronavirus has hit the United States, and they have confirmed cases in Louisiana. They've already been shutting down certain areas about to be shut down and on lockdown, and her business is going to have to close. So Vi's Pies is going to have to be closed at least for 2 weeks. So like the next day, she actually put a sign on the door telling them back open April 1st. That is crazy, because when they first really started kind of making it seem like it was something serious here, it was the end of April here in Virginia. And I was like, I don't know, just in case, because I actually finally started thinking, okay, it might be something to this. And I bought a mask and had it sent to me. And it was one of those N95 ones with the filters and all that. Y'all, everybody's watching the news. Everybody's worried. Prosper looking very, very worried. Like, it's a lot. And I like the fact that when Nova and Calvin were talking about it, before the word clown or anything like that came out of Nova's mouth, you could tell that she was referring to Trump and how trash he is, because he don't read nothing. He don't do none of the stuff he was supposed to do. He didn't do any of the stuff he was supposed to do when he was in office. But anyway, y'all. Yeah, it's getting very scary. Micah, his mom already told him off rip, if something start going down, you're going to have to come home. And he's looking at stuff and he's seeing that it's getting bad. So it is what it is. Anyway, hopefully y'all enjoyed this recap review of Queen Sugar. Thank you so much. Like this video, comment down below, and subscribe if you haven't. I'll see y'all later. Bye.